Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Early Morning Core. I'm your host, Tristan, and today we are going to be covering Terrifier, which is a movie that came out in 2016. I'll go ahead and put it out there. The Terrifier movies, in my opinion, are not like good movies in the sense that they don't have much of a plot or uh, deeper hidden meanings. It is quite literally just a murder spree. And if you are not into murder sprees or gory movies like that, the Terrifier movies are not for you. Okay. This is something to like put on, turn your brain off, and appreciate because it has some of the best practical effects around, especially for its very low budget. This movie is made with $35,000, and trust me, with like the film quality, you can tell that's cheaply made, but with the practical effects, it's like that's what their money went into. It is insane. Uh, got a couple facts for you. The director and the writer is Damien Leone or Leone. I don't know how you pronounce it, but he is behind all three of the Terrifier movies. The ratings that we have is a 5.5 out of 10 from IMDb, a 63% from Rotten Tomatoes, and a 2.4 out of 5 from Letterboxd. Like I mentioned, the budget was $35,000. It grossed internationally for $421,000, which is a success. I mean, that's almost $500,000 for a movie that was made with a car. like, uh, but yeah, like I said, these movies have really good practical effects, lots of gore, a very unpredictable character that we have as Art the Clown because you could never guess what he's going to do. He's also a very over the top character. Like, he does a lot of unnecessary stuff with how he kills people, and it just adds to the uncomfortableness of him being on screen. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the movie. Like I've been doing for the past couple movies now, I'm going to read some trivia stuff at the end. I do not know how long this episode is going to be. So yeah, work with me. The movie starts off with like this interview going on with a woman who survived an attack from Art the Clown. We're kind of already getting the sense that this woman was attacked by our main antagonist. And then it kind of cuts back and forth with this interview going on where this woman is asking this woman questions, and you do see the woman's face, and she looks like she was attacked by a dog. Like it's very bad. But we cut, and then we see Art like suiting up, like putting on his makeup and putting on his black and white clown outfit. And we see Art grabbing like a whole bunch of bloody weapons, like hatchets, knives, cleavers, you name it. He's putting it in this giant trash bag. We cut back, and it's like the interviewer in her changing room or whatever. She's on the phone and she's talking some major shit about the woman she just interviewed, saying how scary she looked and she felt like she's going to be attacked or whatever, and it's pretty sad. But she is talking shit about this poor lady, and uh she's hearing like noises behind her, like in her changing room. So she gets up and she starts to investigate, and then the person that she interviewed jumps out, attacks her, and like pulls her eyeballs out, like deforms her face. It looks bad. And she just starts laughing. Like it is. Oh yeah. But we cut from that laughing to these two girls walking together. Like one of them is very intoxicated. Her name is Dawn. The other woman's name is Tara. Tara's got like this gothic look going on, and Dawn is like this blonde, I would say almost kind of Oktoberfest looking outfit. I really don't know, but uh Tara is noticing that Art is staring at the both of them, like while they're having this conversation outside of their car, and Art is just staring at them. Dawn calls him out and is like calling him handsome and other stuff, and they turn, look at each other, say something, and then they look back, and Art's gone. But they're like, you know what? I'm hungry. Let's get something to eat. So they go to this like pizza place, and they sit down, and Art walks in, sits down, and he is staring and smiling at Tara, like hardcore staring, like not breaking eye contact, not even blinking. So Dawn's solution is to go sit in his lap and take a selfie. I don't understand it. This is not good survival instincts at all. But yeah, Dawn goes over, sits in his lap, and tries to take a selfie. And whenever she gets up and goes back to her table with Tara, Art goes to like one of those quarter machines and gets this ring out, and then walks over to Tara, gets on one knee, and then puts this ring on her ring finger. It is it's such an uncomfortable situation. I, I don't think I could imagine what I would do in this situation, because this is nothing like this has ever happened to me. But I can tell you that I would be very uncomfortable if a guy wearing black and white clown outfit and makeup decided to give me a ring. Uh, but she kind of just goes along with it, doesn't want to piss him off or anything. But uh, Art decides to go like use the bathroom, and in this pizza place, like the guy that I guess owns it or whatever brought out the pizzas and is like, "Hey, is that guy bothering you? I'm gonna kick him out," and he says he'll take care of it. And he kicks Art out, and he's like calling him disgusting and a freak and whatever. And while he is doing that, Tara is asking Dawn what she thinks is in the giant black trash bag that Art's carrying around. But shoot, it doesn't really go anywhere. Art gets kicked out, and the guy grabs the trash bag, gives it to Art after shutting the door. Oh, sorry, shutting the door. My bad. And my alarm just went off. I forgot to turn those off. That is my bad. Very unprofessional. But so yeah, pizza guy kicked out Art, gave him his trash bag. Donna and Tara leave not that long after, and they're walking, and uh, they were basically walking and talking, trying to be like, "What do you think he did in the bathroom?" And that's when Donna's like, "Oh, he probably jerked off everywhere because he's into you." Like, which, depending on where you're from, that is something that could happen. Uh, and then while they're walking, they get back to Don's car and notice that Don's car has a flat tire. They don't know how long it's been there. They don't know what caused it. Nothing like that. I'll be honest. I think Art slashed the tires. That would have been my first thought. Is that fucking weirdo wearing all the clown makeup slash my tires? Uh, and then we cut back to the pizza place, and we find out that Art shit everywhere in that bathroom. I mean, everywhere in that bathroom. It is all over the walls. And we're not talking like just smeared. No, we're talking like, looks like chunks of it. Like full turds are stuck to the wall. It is disgusting. Ugh. But yeah, he shit everywhere in that bathroom. Then we cut back to Tara and Dawn, and Tara's calling her sister Vic, asking for a lift, and Vic is like, "Well, I've got to be up in like 5 hours, and I've got these exams or whatever." And then Vic's roommate comes in with a guy, and they start making out on the bed. So Vic is like, "You know what? I actually could stretch my legs. I'll be over there." uh, but Dawn asks Tara why she seems like so paranoid, because Tara's like looking around. She's keeps looking over her shoulder, and Tara asks, what if Art slashed her tire? Then we cut back to the pizza place, and the pizza guy named Steve, uh, well, not Steve, but his employee. I forgot his name. He was the one cleaning the bathroom up. But he comes out and he's like, "Hey, so overtime, I'm getting paid for that, right?" And he finds Steve, and Steve's head is turned into a jack-o'-lantern. It's very. Whew. This was like the first real. This is the first one that we see of Art's victims. But yeah, Steve got turned into a jack-o'-lantern, and this employee, of course, he's trying to escape, and the door is locked for some reason. Art is kind of known to do that, to lock you in. It's very freaky, but the guy decides to go to the phone, and he gets to the phone, puts his hand on it, and then he gets his hand cut off. And then he gets stabbed in the head and the face, like many times, like over a dozen times of getting stabbed in the face. It's brutal. But we cut back to Tara and Dawn in the car, and Tara has to pee. So this guy steps out of this building he's in to have a smoke, and Dawn is like, "Why don't you ask that guy? I'm sure he has a bathroom." So Tara does that. Tara goes and asks this stranger to use his bathroom. He's like, "I'm sorry, I can't really do that because it's against company policy. I can't let anybody in." But she's like, "Come on, nobody has to know. I'll be in and out. It'll be quick." He's like, "Okay, whatever." But uh, but this guy takes her through, and it's like, it's a good thing you asked me when you did, because I was about to bomb the place. This guy's like a pest control type guy. He's an exterminator. And she's like, "Oh, don't tell me it's roaches." He's like, "No, not roaches. It's rats." I'll be honest, I think I'd rather have rats. So, yeah, not too bad of a trade-off. But this guy takes Tara to this bathroom, and he's like, do you know your way back?" And she's like, yeah, you don't have to stick around and wait for me. It's okay. Uh so he goes off to go do his own thing, and Dawn is outside waiting and hears about, because she's got the radio going on. She hears about how two people at this pizza place got killed, and how the main suspect is a guy wearing black and white clown outfit with makeup. Sounds exactly like our man, Art the Clown, who Dawn and Tara have ran into twice already. We cut to see Art that gets in the car, and Tara does leave the bathroom and hears a baby crying, which, if you're ever in a scary situation and you hear a baby crying, I'm not investigating. I'm going to assume that that is somebody else's problem. Absolutely not. Nope. I'm kidding. If I was in that situation, which I would not be because I would not go into this building for the bathroom. Yeah, no, 100% go and check on a baby when it is definitely a place that a baby should not be, especially if it's about to get bug bombed or whatever. Very spooky. But Terry finds this like lady holding a doll, and this woman is obviously off of her rocker. I do not know the situation. I don't even know her name. In all my notes, I just wrote down her name is Crazy because it's what she is. She is crazy. And there is like a scene later down the road that kind of proves how crazy she was. Ooh, spoiler. My bad. Uh but yeah, this lady has this doll, and uh Tara is like looking for Dawn, and she does end up finding Art, and Art's holding the scalpel, and uh Dawn like tries to run away and escape, and she's hiding behind these cars, and Art's snooping around looking for her, and kind of sets up like a little bit of a trap, so that way when Tara tries to sneak through and sneak out, Art grabs hold of her leg and stabs it like a few times. Yeah, stabbed her in like her calf area ish with the scalpel a few times, and Tara does end up getting away after like stabbing him, I think, with his own scalpel. But yeah, she stabs him and gets away and is hiding and has like a 2x4 with her. Then we cut and we see Vic, and she's on her way, and she also hears about Art on the radio. But Tara, we cut back to Tara, and Tara realizes that she is locked in. So, hold up. I'm trying to understand my own writing right here. Okay, so Tara realizes she's locked in. So she goes upstairs and finds the exterminator guy. And before she can actually get to him and get his attention, Art pops up behind her, grabs her, and injects her with like some sort of drug. I don't know, but like he does it hard enough to make her bleed down her neck. Uh, she wakes up sometime later and she's duct taped to this chair, and Art is looking through his trash bag, through all of his weapons, and he's like scaring Tara by almost like teasing her with like a saw and like a hammer and stuff. Like he's very much a he likes to scare people more than anything. That's part of his sadistic nature, is that he just loves to scare people. Uh but Art grabs the saw, and we find Dawn, and she is hanging from her feet upside down, and she is almost completely naked. So Art uses the saw, puts it between her legs, and then saws her in half, making Tara watch. But before he can finish, Tara does end up breaking free of the duct tape and hits Art and then stabs him in the back with his kitchen knife and then runs because Tara kind of has this thing of where she has only done one thing to him. If you're going to stab him, do it many times, especially if you stab him in the back. You already have the advantage, but around the end of the movie, you'll realize why that would not really matter. But we see Art looking for her, holding the kitchen knife that she stabbed him with, and then Art gets clocked by her with a 2x4 because she found a 2x4 and hit him over the head with it, knocks him down, and she's like, "Come on, motherfucker, get up, get up!" And then we find out that Art believes in the Second Amendment, and he shoots her in the leg. But we cut over to the crazy lady comforting her baby because you can hear all the screams and the gunshots or whatever. And this crazy lady is like, "Oh, I should have warned our poor neighbor," or something like that. And it's like, yeah, I don't know. But she's comforting this baby. And then we cut to Tara, and she's still alive. And she gets shot in the face, like in her right cheek or something. She gets shot. And she's just breathing. It's very sad. We then cut to Vic, and Vic arrives, and she's texting, I think, Tara or Dawn, texting one of them two about how she's there and she's outside, and Art replies back using Dawn's phone, saying that she's around back, she's sick, and Art takes a selfie with Dawn's body. And then we kind of follow Art to where he gets another magazine for his gun because he only had like 3 bullets in it. He gets another magazine and he proceeds to unload this gun into Tara's face in front of the crazy cat lady. And the crazy lady is like looking shocked, and Art looks at her and just smiles. It's very unsettling. It's very creepy. But this crazy lady ends up finding the bug guy and is like panicking and is freaking out and tells him about Art and how Art's killing everybody. This crazy bug guy is like, you, you're fucking crazy. You're off your meds or whatever. You're high. I don't know. So he goes to like call his buddy, and Art comes up behind him, taps on his shoulder. Bug guy turns around, gets hit in the head with a hammer. It happens, but Art breaks this dude's phone as well, and we cut to Vic, and she's actually inside. And this crazy lady is. We cut from Vic inside, looking around, and then we cut to the crazy lady looking for her doll. Her doll cannot be found, and Art is holding the doll and is shushing the crazy lady because she's like, "Please don't hurt my baby, please." And this crazy lady, for like a brief moment, starts to like sympathize for Art and says, "Have you ever felt a mother's touch?" And like puts a hand on his cheek, and he starts like sucking on his thumb, and yeah, it's kind of weird. But this other bug guy arrives, and he's outside. He's trying to get in. All the doors are locked, and Vic does end up finding Dawn. Kind of is freaking out, panicking, and is moving around, and finds this pale, skinny person on the ground with black hair, and it is Art. And then we also see the crazy lady, and Art has cut this woman's boobs off and put them on himself. It is so weird looking. Ugh, dude. It's a very, very weird looking scene. Uh, but Art is like naked as well. And Art is, of course, wearing these boobs. And Vic runs and is in this closet, this metal closet. Art knows that she's in there. And we cut to the other bug guy, and he does end up getting in after finding like a spare key underneath a mat. And he sees these bloody footprints and a bloody doll, and Art comes up behind him and stabs him in the top of the head, and then proceeds to like halfway cut his head off, and then rips his head off, and then kicks it. It's like I said, Art is very over the top, very unnecessary. And then we hear something that sounds like a bicycle ring, like the little ring that goes near the handlebar. Sounds like that. And Vic does leave the closet, and Art is riding this small tricycle like Billy from Saw. Again, it's unsettling. It's very creepy looking. But Vic is trying to be sneaky, and Art does end up getting her with this plastic bag. Vic does, poke holes through the mouth, rip the bag, and she stabs him in the foot with like this long rusted nail. It looks disgusting. And we cut and we see that the original bug guy is still alive from that hammer hit somehow. But he's still alive, and we cut to Vic. She's, of course, trying to find a way out. But she finds Tara with her very messed up face, and she's holding this circus sign and like lights on her, and uh Art comes up behind her with like this flail where it's made of like medical instruments, like medical scissors and scalpels and stuff. And um he does hit Vic multiple times with it, causing very deep cuts. And yeah, she's getting bloody all over, and this bug guy does knock Art out with like the canister of the bug spray. But yeah, knocks Art out, and he proceeds to take Vic to this like break room of sorts, locks the door, and calls 911. But he's like, "Nah, we're finding a way out. We have to, because I don't know how long she has left, and we cannot be in here with this motherfucker." So uh they do try to escape, but Art does use the same canister and bust this dude's head open. Looks looks wicked. But uh so that's the end of that bug guy. And he proceeds to like do like a mime laugh, and is like quietly laughing while looking at Tara trying to escape. Uh and then while she's trying to escape, Art does come up behind her and grab her. And then she busts him in the nose, and she does make it out of the door. And he uses this like horn, this little horn, and is like honking it at her. Like, oh god. It's so like rage baity. It's very funny looking. But how he's honking this horn at her through this door. Uh and then we find out, well, Art like disappears for a second. And then we find out that he got inside of a truck to drive through this door, and he does drive it through the door heading Vic. Then the police find Art eating pieces of Vic right beside her. But Cops are like, turn around, take your hand out of your pocket. Art turns around and puts a gun in his mouth and shoots himself. Vic does survive. The police do say that, like, this woman's still alive. And then we see body bags being wheeled into this coroner who wants a breakfast sandwich with bacon or anything with bacon. And he unzips, he's like, let's take a look at, this guy. And Art is smiling. And then the lights start to go crazy, like flickering in and out, and Art gets up and kills this coroner. I don't know why I did not write down how he does, but he does. And I'm sure that it is kind of over the top too. But the parents wheel Vic out of the hospital, who was the person who was interviewed in the beginning. So the beginning kind of started with the end. But yeah. So that was the Terrifier movie. Like I said, if you like gore and good practical effects, this is a movie you should check out. I will talk about a little bit of my history with this movie. I watched this when I was still in high school, and I remember watching it on the school bus and being like, what the fuck? Especially during the Dawn getting cut in half, because that is absolute insanity. Oh god. Oh. I've only been recording for like a little over 30 minutes. I'm very surprised. This movie is not that long, and like I said, it's not very plot driven. It is very much you turn it on and you turn your brain off. But that does not stop it from being a good movie when it comes to just the enjoyment of watching everything going on. Because you don't watch it for plot. You watch this to see nothing but crazy kills and gore. Like, depending on the way Saw went, you would put these two next to one another. Okay, let's read a little bit of trivia. So, David Howard Thornton is the guy that plays Art the Clown, and he was the 6th person who auditioned for Art after Mike Gianelli retired from the role of acting altogether. During the audition, he began miming tasting his beheaded victim's blood, but then added salt to improve its flavor. And that is what won him the role of Art the Clown, because that is something that Art the Clown would do. David Howard Thornton, who portrays Art the Clown, has previous mime experience, which he utilizes in his performance, which you kind of see a little bit of here and there, but not much else. Earlier in the movie, when Dawn is listening to the radio, there's an ambulance that drives by, and that was a real ambulance. It was unplanned, and it just happened, and it works. But director Damien Leone created Art the Clown because he felt that the 2010s lacked an iconic horror clown. However, he purposely made Art as different from its Pennywise as possible. For example, Art doesn't have the hair, wears all black and white, and uses weapons, and doesn't speak. Very much unlike Pennywise, who, has hair, bright colors, and speaks. The underground tunnels used in the film were part of the abandoned Seaview Hospital. These tunnels were used to transport the dead out of sight of the other patients, where they were to be cremated. David Howard Thornton describes Art as an evil Mr. Bean. He is also inspired by other silent and physical actors such as Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton, Lon Chaney, Doug Jones, and Jim Carrey. Mike Gianelli, the original Art the Clown in the Ninth Circle from 2008 Terrifier 2011 and All Hallows Eve 2013, decided not to reprise his role due to how long it would take to apply the heavy prosthetics and makeup. David Howard Thornton took his place. Director Damien Leone said of the change, "Mike may as well have been a guy dressed as a clown, whereas David is a clown. He is a walking cartoon. He is Roger Rabbit in real life. And you'd never believe that he's Art the Clown, but he knows how to flip the switch and bring it to a dark place." The latex face mold for Art the Clown was the same used by Mike Giannelli in All Hallows Eve from 2013. In order to keep the look of the character consistent between film appearances, the mold had to be modified to fit David Howard Thornton's face. Art the Clown's flail is made out of the hair of his victims, along with sharp metal implements, which I did mention that flail earlier. I did not know that part to it, though. While filming the hacksaw dead scene, Catherine Corcoran didn't have a rig to do her stunts, so she was actually strapped to BDSM equipment and hanged upside down. For security to reduce the risk of brain trauma, she was held upside down for only 42 seconds at a time. Filming the scene took all night, and she stood below 0 Celsius temperature while being almost naked. By the end of the night, she could not sustain being hanged upside down, and so she was resting on a table for the last shots, which were all filmed in close-ups to hide the table from sight. The Craven Halloween store advertised on the radio was named after horror director Wes Craven, which I did not pick up on. During the tunnel scene with the cat lady Puya Moseni, where Art the Clown is holding her doll Emily, David Howard Thornton found Moseni's performance so emotionally impactful that it caused him to cry. I could see that. It was very much a well-acted scene. She does do a good job in it. David Howard Thornton, while on a break during the film, spotted 2 women arguing in the street. He decided to wave at them in full makeup and costume as Art the Clown to freak them out. What a dick. This is a movie based on the short film Terrifier from 2011. The movie reuses many moments from that short and the previous one with Art the Clown, The Ninth Circle from 2008, such as Art honking a horn, carrying a trash bag, using a self-made flail, getting stabbed in the eye, and getting thrown out for messing up a bathroom. The jack-o'-lantern shown in the pizza parlor is CGI. Director Damien Leone said he wanted the scene to have more of a Halloween feel to it, so he added it in post-production. Phil Falcone requested a producer's credit in exchange for crowdfunding this movie. He also appears in the movie as Tom, which I'm assuming Tom is the bug guy, I want to say. Katie McGuire, who plays Monica in this, which is the interviewer woman, was also in the previous Art the Clown movie, All Hallows Eve, but played a different character. The scene in the pizza parlor was filmed at Andy's Deer Hills Pizzeria in Deer Park, New York, which closed its doors for business in October of 2017, which sucks. And Jenna Cannell, I guess, I don't know how to pronounce it, who played Tara, performed all her stunts in the film, which is really good. But there is a whole lot more trivia facts to go over. If you're curious about the trivia, you can look up Terrifier trivia, and it is all listed on the IMDb page. That is where I get all of my information, unless I somehow find out something else, like from an interview or something, but I have not listened to any interviews in a while. So, that was Terrifier. The next movie that I cover will probably be Don't Let Her Go, I think I did something on my Instagram page where I asked people to give me suggestions. This one was requested by the host of the Freaks and Ghouls podcast. She releases her episodes on Fridays, and she does really good work. I strongly suggest that you go check her stuff out. She is very much a Terrifier advocate, and I don't blame her. These are good movies, especially if you do enjoy the gore and the practical effects of it, because they put in a lot of work for it. And we now have Art the Clown as a icon. Like, he is. It's also very surprising to see icons get made in the way that this has been. But yes, like I said, this episode was requested by the host of the Freaks and Ghouls podcast. And yeah, I hope that you all have a wonderful day, and I cannot wait to see you in the next episode. Bye bye.